Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie and I talk about budgeting, decluttering, and being a busy working mom. If any of this sounds interesting to you, definitely subscribe for more videos. Today I'd like to talk to you about things I declutter each month to keep a tidy home, or at least somewhat tidy. I am still on my decluttering journey like many of you, so you've kind of caught me in the beginning stages of decluttering. I do have my decluttering video about the 30-day declutter challenge. I'll link that in the description. Definitely check that out, especially if you're new to decluttering. It's such a great place to start. But I'm going to share with you things that I've been doing monthly to keep on track with the decluttering and to keep from letting more clutter just take over my apartment again. The first thing that I declutter every month is paper clutter. So this is almost something I do on a weekly basis. So my daughter will bring home papers from preschool. I will bring home stuff from work. There's junk mail. My husband has a lot of junk mail or random things as well. So any of this paper clutter, make sure you are going through it frequently. I actually like doing this weekly because we bring in so much. I don't know why there is still so much paper. It is 2025. Let's go digital with this stuff. I mean, I do understand the preschool stuff because they're working obviously on coloring and writing and stuff. But anyway, what is with junk mail? So all of this stuff, make sure you're going through it so that it doesn't just take over your house. The next one is pretty simple, and that is expired items. And honestly, this is one I kind of do weekly as well. Maybe this is a weekly decluttering video. I don't know. But either way, at least monthly, if not more often, make sure you are cleaning out expired items. So for food, I definitely do this weekly because you don't want some weird mold creature growing in your fridge. So make sure you are going through your fridge in particular weekly. The other stuff that you could wait a little bit longer on would be like freezer foods, pantry foods, beauty products, lotions, skincare, medications. Make sure you're checking all of these things on a regular basis because they do expire. The next thing is going to be worn out sponges and towels and any kind of dishcloths or washcloths. Make sure you are decluttering these items because they can really start to take over. I know there have been times where I've had like 3 sponges at one time on the sink. Like, where did all these come from? So make sure you are either switching things out or just completely getting rid of like sponges and towels that are starting to fall apart. Maybe it's stuff that doesn't absorb as well as it used to, or it's just shedding threads or pieces of plastic or whatever it happens to be. Those need to go. Similarly, the next thing would be worn out clothes and shoes. So shoes, you're probably not going to be throwing out monthly. This one can probably be more of like a quarterly type deal. So shoes, socks, underwear, t-shirts, I mean, literally any kind of item that you can wear. Make sure you're checking on these regularly throughout the year so that if it's something you notice you're not wearing anymore because it's worn out, just toss it. If you're taking your socks off at the end of the day and one has a hole, either set it aside to repair it or just toss it. For me, if it's like a pretty cheap sock, I just got it like Target or something, I'll go ahead and throw it out. If it's something like a nice wool sock, I actually learned how to darn socks, and it's actually kind of fun. So if you have a lot of really nice socks, particularly wool socks, you might want to look into darning. But otherwise, any kind of cheap stuff like underwear that's falling apart, losing its elasticity, just go ahead and toss that. Another one to keep up with, where I used to really struggle with this, is products I don't like. So things that I bought and I tried and I decided I don't like them. I had this issue really big with makeup. I would try new makeup products all the time and my makeup look is so minimal. I use like, I think 5 products. It's not much at all. So I really don't need much. So I've kind of just stopped branching out and just stick to what I like. But for a while, I was trying all kinds of new makeups and lotions and makeup removers and just all this new stuff that I didn't like. The same thing can apply to food. So if you're someone who buys a lot of new snacks to try, but you end up not liking some of them, go ahead and just toss them because you know you're not going to eat it. Just get rid of it. If it's something that's unopened, maybe you can donate it. Otherwise, just get it out of your house. One that you may find kind of out of place is a digital declutter, and that is apps you don't use. So if you have apps on your phone, your iPad, whatever, things that you downloaded and just never used, or things you've had for a while that you find yourself not using anymore, go ahead and get rid of those. The one thing I will remind you of that I kind of messed up on was if any of those apps have subscriptions, make sure you cancel your subscription before you get rid of the app. That one got me into trouble recently, where it was a clothing, like an outfit planner app where I had paid for it. And I only paid $15 for a year before, and then they went up to $30, and I forgot to unsubscribe before I deleted it. So I got a nice $30 charge for an app I don't use and don't want. So don't let that happen to you. Learn from my mistake. Another thing to declutter monthly would be decor that you don't use. So whether it's wall hangings, pillows, pillow covers, old blankets, knickknacks, candles, whatever it happens to be, any of this stuff that you find yourself not using, go ahead and declutter it. These are usually great items to take to thrift stores or donate in another way. So keep maybe a donation box or whatever it is to get rid of these items. The next thing is going to be books. This one, I guess it depends on how much you read and how many books you bring in. My bookshelf is actually pretty small considering how much I read, so I'm pretty proud of myself with keeping up with the books. One of my big secrets for books is those little libraries, the little free libraries. They're like little book mailboxes. I love them. My daughter loves them. They're fantastic. So you can either get new books out of there, or you can put your old books in there for someone else to pick up. It's just been such a great way to kind of give and take books. I've definitely taken some, and I've given a lot of books to those things. Sometimes you can also sell them on eBay or whatever. You might be able to donate them to the library, although I don't think our library takes donations. I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. But I would highly recommend those little library boxes, or just donate them to a thrift store, whatever it happens to be. Just go ahead and get rid of books that you aren't using and don't plan on reading. The next thing on this list to declutter on a regular basis is going to be office supplies. So maybe there's office supplies you don't use or just otherwise doesn't work, like old pens, whatever it happens to be. Make sure you're keeping track of that kind of stuff and just get rid of stuff you don't use. This could even be things like accessories, like desk accessories or electronic accessories, old cords, things like that. Just anything around your desk, your home office, whatever it is that you're not using, go ahead and donate them or get rid of them. A big one for any parents out there is going to be old toys. Make sure you are getting rid of your child's old toys, things that they don't play with anymore, maybe things that are even broken or don't work. Make sure you get rid of those. One thing with kids is if they have too many toys, they start to feel overwhelmed by their toys. And studies have shown that kids with less toys actually tend to be more creative with their toys because they have to make up different games with what you give them to play with. So don't ever feel bad about getting rid of your kids' old toys. I do it. I get rid of my daughter's toys like all the time. A lot of times she just doesn't really play with them because she'd rather be outside or playing at the park, whatever it is. So I actually keep a pretty small rotation of toys for her, and it's worked out really well. The next one, I already mentioned clothes that are worn out, but I forgot to mention clothes that don't fit. And this is another one that's a big one for parents because kids outgrow clothes so fast. As an adult, hopefully you aren't outgrowing clothes too often, but either way, if they shrink, whatever it happens to be, just make sure you're getting rid of clothes that don't fit. Maybe they're too small, maybe they're too big, whatever it happens to be. Things that don't make you feel good when you put them on or otherwise just don't fit at all. For any clothes like this, you could always just donate them. Stuff that's in better shape, you might try something like thredUP. Although honestly, they don't give a whole lot of money. I mean, it's really gone downhill as far as how much you can get at thredUP. But you can also do eBay. I've sold some clothes on eBay. That tends to work out. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get rid of old clothes. So there's no sense in having clothes around you that don't make you feel your best. So the next one on this list, and this is really big if you, especially around Christmas, maybe around birthdays, but it's gifts that you don't want or need. So if someone gives you a gift, sometimes you can kind of feel guilted into keeping it around. But if you're not going to use it, you don't need it, you didn't ask for it, don't feel bad about just getting rid of it, because there may be someone else who could use it. I mean, take it and donate it. Give it to someone else. Just don't give it back to the person who gave it to you. That would be kind of rude, but just get rid of it somehow. I know for me, I love giving people gifts, and if I found out that they got rid of a gift I gave them, I wouldn't care. I mean, whatever. That means I got them something they didn't like. I would never want someone to feel guilted into keeping something just because I gave it to them. I just don't buy into that. So don't feel bad about getting rid of gifts that you're not using. So that is the list, but one more tip that I wanted to throw out there: you don't have to do like a one day a month declutter to keep up with these things. You should kind of be tracking this stuff throughout the month. Just keep it in the back of your mind. If you see something that you're like, hey, I don't use that, I don't need it, I would highly suggest like keeping a donation box and maybe a garbage bag like next to each other, just kind of out of the way. So as you find things that you want to get rid of or donate or whatever you want to do with it, you can put it in that spot just to get it out of the way, so that it's not just in your line of vision all the time, or you don't forget about it. And as far as the donation box, the only way that this might backfire is if you go through it before you donate it. So say you have a big box, you piled it with stuff throughout the month, and then you notice, you pick it up and you're like, wow, this box is pretty heavy. What did I put in here? Don't do it. Don't go through it. So unless you have a lot of self-control, because you don't want to go through and be like, oh yeah, I forgot I put that in there, I actually need that, and then take it out. You don't want to do that. If you're worried that you maybe put something in there of value, maybe you could get your partner to look at it or something else. Be like, hey, did I accidentally drop my wallet in here or whatever? Like I said, if you do have a lot of self-control, I mean, go for it. Take a look. Just be really careful about taking stuff back out of the donation box, because at one point you already decided you don't need it. So why take it back out? You're just not going to use it, and you know you're not, so don't do it. Well, I hope this list has been helpful. These are things that really help me to stay on track, because a lot of these are just so easy to get rid of. I mean, expired stuff, that's so easy to throw out because you know it's not good anymore. So some things might be a little more difficult, but for the most part, definitely make sure you're keeping on top of these easy things. Is there anything I left off the list? Things that you keep up with each month, or stuff that's just an easy to get rid of item? I would love to hear it, because I'm always looking for ideas. So just throw them at me. And also don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.